I'm glad to be back again on YouTube today, recording another video. But disclaimer before we go, I say anything much on this topic that I want to talk about today. These are just my personal opinion. This is how I look at it. This is how I understand it. This and the opinions that I'm gonna give, which might help solve the problem, are solely my views and my opinions. Today, I want to speak about yet another problem in Africa, another big problem of affecting Africans, which is gender based violence. It has become another pandemic in Africa. Gender based violence has become a problem that at the center of so many governments, they are trying to find solutions and putting policies in place in order to try and stop gender based violence. And as I was going through YouTube, I saw another video. As I was saying, I saw another video on YouTube by Penno the Black Pen, amazing creator. Respect the guy. He was talking about gender based violence and he said, let's not sugarcoat the word by calling it gender based violence. Let's not put gender in there. It's literally violence against women. That's what it is, right? It is men being violent to women. And it it seems like it's more of an African problem than anything. It is worse here in Africa, from my understanding, from the looks of it. It's not a new problem. It's This problem has always been there. I remember even when I was growing up. I mean, these things were common. Our mothers were being abused by our fathers, and it was just a case that these women understood and accepted the fact that my husband can beat me up when he is upset, right? So those cases were not reported, so it doesn't mean that the numbers are skyrocketing now. No, it's always been there, but it's just that back then these things were not issues. Before, the women were just accepting the fact that it is what it is, but that doesn't mean it was right then. As I was trying to wrap my head around the reason and the causes of these issues and how we can solve it from the looks of things, there is no man who walk up to a woman in the street and just become violent to them, or in any situation where there is no relationship whatsoever between a man and a woman. I mean, there are like old cases where literally people rape strangers and end up killing them and whatsoever. I think those people, it's next level demonic. I don't think this video will help them either. But in so many cases, these these cases of domestic violence or gender-based violence are found within the confines of a relationship or sexual relationship, marriages, and so forth. This is where mostly men end up becoming so violent and aggressive and beating up women and things like this. Us as Africans, as the world progresses, we seem to be left behind in so many instances. That's how I look at it. I think us as Africans, as the world is progressing, as civilization moves on, we tend to be left behind. I mean, I'm sure in the whole world, this problem has been a problem before. I mean, in you can read any book of history will tell you the same thing, that even in Europe, in America whatsoever, women were also taken advantages of in so many cases, in so many instances, and were also abused, and there was also instances of those rising cases of gender-based violence. But the world has moved on a little bit, and people have begun to understand that we are all human beings, regardless whether you're female or male. This is a fact of life. We are all equal, in not in the sense that people would like to debate it today, but in the sense that we are all human beings, right? In terms of equal rights, we are all equals. We are all human beings. Everybody have a right to exist, to have peace, and to make choices of their own. But it seems like in us African men, we don't embrace that fact. We don't understand the fact that we need to respect women. Women are their own individuals. They can make their own choices. They can make their own decisions. You cannot force them to do what you want. And making this video, my goal, the moral of the video is trying to get as many Africans as possible, especially men, to be conscious of these facts that in today's world in 2024 we cannot be having a crisis of gender-based violence or violence against women, as we alluded earlier, that it's all about men being violent to women, right? It's trying to bring some sense into the heads of men so that they can kind of understand. I understand there's an older generation which is probably not even gonna watch this video. It's in their brain, and they just, that's how they understand it, that uh, my wife must do what I say. If she says, she argues with me or she doesn't agree with me, or if anything, they will resort to use violence and try and force women to do certain ways or certain things. But uh, you know what? To the younger generation, please, fellas, let's change our mindset. Let's adapt to the new world. I mean, and respect every individual. Respect a woman as her own person. First reason why men usually end up becoming violent towards a woman, towards a female, and like I said earlier, it's usually in the confines of a marriage and a relationship where this will end up, where men are usually violent towards women. It's never like in just a stranger attacking a stranger. So the first reason that causes men to end up becoming violent towards women is arguments, having prolonged arguments. And women usually uses words, right, as a weapon of attack, and then at the end of the day it will provoke the men, and the men will end up resorting to what he has, what he is capable of doing, which is violent. uh so to men, please listen to me. You cannot win an argument with a woman. That's a fact. You can't win an argument. It's not worth trying to pursue an argument or trying to persuade her or trying to argue anything with her. You should learn how to handle communication between you and your female. You should know, you should be a man of few words. Listen to what she says, don't ignore her. That's a big mistake. You cannot ignore what she says, but you should be able to handle, you should be able to be calm and understand and listen to what she says. If you see that the conversation is heating up, you'd rather uh, find a way to withdraw from the conversation. Do not uh, also be charged up emotionally. If you keep arguing with a female, at the end of the day, this is where it's gonna end up leading you to. I mean, when I was young, when I didn't understand this fact, I was also just dumb. Argue for the whole night. It's pointless. Listen, it's not worth it. All it will end up creating between you is a grudge, is a gape, and at the end of the day, this is where the violence will end up kicking in from the male side, when he is provoked, when she says certain things, and then you end up using force, right? You're using power or getting upset, and this wanting to smash it, because sometimes we are talking about a different topic, and women will always end up bringing different things in the conversation, bringing which is not even relevant to the discussion at first. So if you look at it, sometimes when you are arguing with a female in the confines of a relationship, for the most part, what sparks the conversation from the beginning, what starts the conversation from the beginning, and where you will end up at the end of the day in that argument, it will be totally different. Two topics that you'll be talking about, so many things will be brought in. So if you are a man, right, you should be able to control your emotions. That's the aspects of masculinity that we should have as men. That's the ability to control our emotions, to be calm. You should be able to discern and see that, okay, I know this conversation will end up in a situation where I don't want this to go, right? So you should be able to handle it in a calm way. So yeah, number one, it was about handling arguments between you and a female, right? Say less and withdraw from the conversation as soon as possible. Okay, she can bring up a topic, listen to what she has to say, give your answer. If it's going to become an argument, just say nicely, listen, I'm not gonna have this conversation, I'm not gonna have this argument. Fun enough, at the end of the day, women will end up understanding this, that okay, actually in this relationship, in this house, this is how we handle things. We don't argue about things. Okay, if the man says, I'm not having this conversation anymore, she will understand that, okay, this is probably the end of the conversation. As long as you gave her an ear from the start, as long as you listen to her saying what she wanted to say, she'll understand. On to my second reason why I think men end up being violent towards women in relationships, for the most part. This is mostly what we're talking about today. um, is the fact that men should understand that a female is a human being, same uh, as a man. We are all human beings, and she is free to make her own decisions. If she so desire and she chooses to say goodbye to you in a relationship, you should accept that. You should understand that she has decided not to be with you. This is another problem where men will end up trying to force a relationship, trying to be violent, trying to follow her around. We have cases where literally women has been murdered because she wants to leave a relationship. That's insanity. That's insanity in men. She is a whole human being who is capable of making her own decisions. And if you respect that fact, and if you understand that, you would know in your head every single day of your life, you should know that if you are in a relationship with a woman, at some point in her life, if she so desires and if she chooses to leave you, you must understand. If she chooses to leave your dumbass, you must let her go in peace. Do not try to fight anyone. Do not try to fight someone who she is in a relationship with, or she's moving on with to someone and whatsoever. It is what it is. You must accept that she has the right to decide who she wants to be with in life. If she decided that she doesn't want to be with you anymore, you should accept that fact and let her go in peace. As much as you, as a man, you can also choose to leave at any point in time in that relationship. We always walk away. We always have other girlfriends. We always cheat on women. But when a woman decides that she wants to leave you, I don't understand, why does it become a problem? Why do you become violent and try to force her to be with you? It won't help you with anything. If she said she doesn't want to be with you, it's probably there's something that she doesn't want to be with you for a reason, and you forcing her, you making it even worse. I don't understand the logic behind it. Just to keep the video short, my last point is tied to the previous point. She has the right to leave you when she wants to leave you. So, man, do not invest what you're not willing to lose. Understand this. If you understand, especially in today's world, we all see how things have evolved. It's not, I'm not talking about, this video is not based on the fact that culture has been eroded and the Western culture has came into our continent, and it's causing certain people, women sometimes, to behave in a certain way. That's not the moral of the video. But the main thing I'm talking about is If she so decide to leave you, you should understand and accept. So if you understand this, that at any point in time she might choose to leave you, do not invest what you're not willing to lose. I've seen videos and social media, people have built houses and then they end up following to break the houses apart. I'm not saying you are the dumbass. At the first place, why did you build the house, right? it, you must be, you must be aware that whatever you want to do for her, you must understand the fact that she might choose to leave you at some point in her life. You must understand the fact that whatever you do, thinking that you're buying love from her, if you are in certain masculinity communities on the internet, on whatever you, the red pill and whatever you, this is a very important teaching, that you must understand the fact that you do not buy love by giving her stuff. Because at the end of the day, we have a problem with men who start now hunting this woman down because I did this and that for her. I built a house for her. I was taking care of her kids. She had her own kids and I was sending them to school. I bought her a new iPhone. Why did you do that stuff? Because your dumbass didn't understand the fact that, boy, anytime this woman can choose to be with someone else for any other reason, which is her choice. You shouldn't invest what you're not willing to lose. You were not supposed to do all that stuff at the beginning. If you want to take care of her own children, do it at your own cost. You must understand that if she now decides that she doesn't want to be with you, you should be fine with it. If you're not fine with it, then don't do it. There's no need for you to become violent towards her now because she chooses to leave you. At the end of the video, I'm just calling on all men to respect women. Please, these are human beings, have their own brain. They have the right to choose to do what they want as and when they want to do it. If she doesn't want to be with you, if she doesn't agree with your ideology, please walk away. Do not argue, do not fight, do not try to be violent with anyone. Be a man of integrity.